It's Sentra time. Alright, so welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, as you can see, we are going to attempt to start doing some work on the Sentra. Now, because, park isn't park if the wheels aren't all the way up on the ground. That's ridiculous. It's funny how it's like, I'm going to be gentle. I'm going to try and be like, not super aggressive, not use an impact. But what do I have to do? Snatch and yank and... Oh, cool. If you're wondering why I'm not using an impact, I can tell you. It's because I'm salty. Even though I have an air impact, I lost my Milwaukee impact at some point. I think I left it at the junkyard when me and Amanda went out and did our beetle parts hunting a couple weeks back. Of course, nobody's turned any of them in. Why would they? But anyway, more to the actual point. We're gonna take the wheels off of this. We're gonna give the springs and shocks and stuff a little bit of a jiggle and shake down. There's some clunking going on. That, and I'm not really attempting to do all of the work on the car today or anything. I'm actually dodging the rain by being out here right now. Mother Nature's been super cooperative lately. Come on, yeah, just there you go. That's one. All right. Oh. So basically, the other day I realized while this thing was idling, I moved it. I saw a puddle of oil. So we're taking the wheels off so that we can get access to stuff a little easier, a little better. I'm going to be checking these coilovers and settings and stuff. And, Butterfinger. And that's number 2. They're Inkies. They're nice wheels. Alright. and then it was 3 and 4. So, upon initial inspections, everything kind of seems tight, like it's supposed to be. I think. Not real sure. So the thing is, I don't have any tension on the suspension right now, so it should, if it's going to make any noise, it should make noise, because it's when it bounces that it makes any kind of... Yeah, see, that seems... I don't know. All of it's good. Seems good. That is definitely concerning, because it's a significant thunk. I wonder if it's bottoming out. I wonder if that's what we're hearing. Instead of it being some kind of loose shock like we thought, I wonder if they've just got it so low. Because, like, look at how in the wheel well the wheel is. And I'm up here on the pinch weld with the jack stand. And then over there I'm on, I think I'm on the structure that mounts the control arm to the frame of the car. Alright, well, that means I'm going to have to raise the coils up. We are going to start this thing real fast, though. Keys. We're going to see what we can do to find this leak. How's the hood look? Is it good? Or does it have a bunch of dents in it? I think it's got a bunch of dents in it, don't it? Although I guess it could have been good. I don't know. Alright, forgive the noise. You guys remember, this one's a little loud. See, it sounds healthy. It starts up strong. Even looks pretty clean under the hood. I mean, granted, I did spray it off and try to clean it up a good bit, but whatever. I'm just gonna kind of sit here and hang out and see what happens. At least it's cloudy. It's kind of alright. I used the air and blew down the pad a little bit so that it was nice and clear underneath. That way we don't have to worry about any kind of debris or obstructions or be like, is it leaking? Go ahead and turn this bad boy off. Don't need that no more. Oh, it's always the most boring thing in the world to sit here and wait for the grass to grow or the paint to dry or the wallpaper to peel, I guess. But anyway, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're ready for your weekend. It's Friday here. Today now, recording. I'll be uploading this one today, so it'll be pretty fun. It really does idle pretty damn good, doesn't it? It's not bad. 238,000 miles and no smoking. Got a little bit of lifter chatter. Not lifter, but rocker chatter, but it's a rocker arm motor, so it's going to have some chatter. And that could very well be normal, but to me it doesn't sound like it's unhealthy by any means. Alright. I see why they want to keep trying to,
fix it up and keep it going. But there's just a few quality of life things I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't really like this corrugated material or whatever you want to call it. I can't stand this type of tubing. That, and there's things over here that could have been done different. We could have just put a little filter on here and let that vent to atmosphere rather than letting it be pulled in by the motor. I don't really care for venting crankcase gases into the engine. I'm okay with EVAP because if you think about it, fuel fumes are flammable, therefore it technically might... Oh yeah, you see it just idled funny. Now it's going to idle up and down a bit. But I still... No drips of oil yet. I mean, it's been running, I know it's only been 11 minutes on the video so far, but it's been running for about 20. I've paused and done stuff in between and checked, you know, I set the camera down and went and rechecked the suspension with 2 hands just to try and make sure I wasn't messing something up, and I don't think I am. Everything there seems tight, so I do think it's bottoming out in the rear end or something. It's got to be something to that effect. Maybe there's even just something in the trunk, because I noticed that the trunk doesn't have any carpet in it, so that means all the stuff that's in there that's metal or heavy or anything could also be thunking around, and we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be something simple like the shocks are bottoming out, and all I'll have to do is just set the adjustment up a little bit, and next thing you know, we're back in business. No clunky. This thing's alright though for what it is. It's a front-wheel drive SR20, if you don't know. The reason the SR20 is special is because for a long time that was Japan's 4-cylinder turbo motor that came in a bunch of front-wheel drive cars, a couple of rear-wheel drive cars. It was like 160 or 70 horsepower from the factory, and with just a little bit of tuning you could get 250, 300 out of them pretty reliably. I think around 350 they start needing minor reinforcements, like probably a lower compression head gasket or spacer or something. But the rocker arms are actually the weak link in these motors. If you start trying to rev the shit out of these things, they don't take kindly to it. The rockers are weak by design, and so even, as far as I know, the only way to do anything about it is to use lightweight rockers, and I haven't been able to find a set for this. Because I'd put lightweight rockers in there. Hell yeah. It'll free up a little bit of valve train slop. It'll let the springs that are in there work a little stronger. Like, not only do you get the valve, you know, not shattering as bad with a potential failure point at that point, but you end up relieving some of that moving rotational mass. And I know it's not rotational at that point because it's an up and down thing, but it's still fulcrums. So there's still like weight and momentum behind that action of the cam rolling over top of the thing and it pressing the valve down, right? So reducing that weight inside of the engine as a moving, you know, part is invaluable. So that alone on a stock motor would be pretty damn good, because you'd potentially feel a response improvement. I don't know that you'd make that much more power or anything, but what it would do is it would allow, with less weight, the motor to more freely make the power it's tuned to make. So it would feel faster because you're more efficiently making that power. It wouldn't actually be any faster, but it would feel much better. And that's not to say that it wouldn't, you know, marginally increase a little bit of power, because, you know, friction and rotating mass robs horsepower inside of the motor, and that's how this whole thing works. So if you can reduce that weight and reduce that friction factor, you can get away with a lot of different stuff. That's how race cars do what they do at 9,000, 10,000 RPM. They just mitigate the wear and tear as best they can. But for what it is, you know, if I can find her a solid 5-speed conversion or something like that and get this thing, you know, on that life with a third pedal, I think it'd be a pretty cool car. You know, SR20s are nifty. They're pretty easy to find original replacement parts for. So if it ever blew a head gasket or needs an alternator, distributor, or something, it's all available. It's all still out there, easy enough to buy. Plus, there's Japanese variants of the engine that you can import through a half dozen and one, different importers that are in the States. I know in Virginia, there's at least 4 different places that you can get, used Japanese swap engines from. So, buy a Japanese swapped motor and trans, SR20 turbo version, bring it on over here, get all of the conversion parts from a local donor car at the junkyard, and then just convert the car to a manual transmission. When you buy the swap cars, usually you end up getting the motor, the trans, the harness, and the ECM, TCMs, and stuff like that if they're applicable. It costs you $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 for one of the swaps, but you're also getting a swap that only has 30 or 40,000 miles on it. So it's still really fresh in the grand scheme of things, considering we here in America, our standard used to be 200,000 miles. If anything had 200,000 miles on it, that was considered high mileage. Anything from when you bought it at 5 miles all the way up to that 200,000 mile, you were still breaking in. At 200,000 miles, you were officially clicking into the high mileage ring. And with this, look at it. It got 238,000 miles, still runs, still drives, still sounds pretty good. The idle issue, I'm pretty sure that's the idle air control valve. I'm not terribly worried about it. I think a combination of the throttle body being filthy and the idle air control valve just being old and having 240,000 miles worth of carbon, oil, gunk, and all that stuff built up into it, I think cleaning the two of them, taking them off and cleaning them will be the way to go. But I am waiting for parts. I'm basically waiting for gaskets for that, and I'm waiting for the ultrasonic cleaner that my buddy Will, who's the girl's boyfriend who owns this, he's going to send me an ultrasonic cleaner so that I can actually put these into a machine and have them deep cleaned from the inside out. I've seen a lot of really good success with electronics. All you got to do is be sure you use distilled water. That way it's as free of any kind of bullshit as it can be. And then, of course, you have to make sure that everything adequately dries out. I'll do this, and then I'll let this thing sit, under the cover, but in the sunlight of the day for 2 or 3 days, maybe, for it to dry out completely. Let that sunlight really bake that part and get all the moisture back out of it. And then just throw them back together. The throttle body I'm not too worried about. All it has on it is a throttle position sensor, and I can take this little vacuum solenoid off. I can handle most of the other stuff. No big deal. But essentially, I think what's happening is that there's an idle air control valve there with 240,000 miles worth of oil, carbon, and other stuff building up. And basically, the valve that's supposed to open and close really quickly and fast and a few hundred times a minute, it's sluggish and sludge-ridden. So it's just barely able to react to itself. And it's sitting here idling on its own. There's enough range of motion for it to run with an idle surge, right? But if I put the car in drive and it does that idle drop, well, because the motor's now under a load from the transmission, the motor will naturally idle down to that low point. Well, when you hit that low point on top of the low point, you end up with a point where the motor can't idle itself anymore and it just shuts off and stalls. The motor starts back up, but it's inconvenient as hell to have to go back into neutral or park and then start the car and then go back to drive. It's just, no. Damn all that. If we can fix it, we're going to fix it. We're going to try cleaning it first and see how that goes. Idle air control valves, they're usually pretty robustly built because they bolt to the engine, so they have to handle heat, vibration, and other things. So typically I would say clean it first, and that's what we're going to try. If it continues to idle like that after the fact, I'm not real sure where to go from there because the motor runs so damn good that I'm sure the spark plugs are fine, lightning hoses are fine, whirligig's fine, like all of the bullshit's fine. Everything's working the way it's supposed to, as far as I know. Again, I'm not a Nissan tech, so there's a lot of this stuff that I just don't know. I don't know what it does, I don't know why it's there, but the basics, I can make sense of some of it. I did at least confirm I can't find any vacuum leaks on it. Maybe I'll see something when I start taking the intake and stuff out, but at the present moment, I didn't notice anything, so it's kind of hard to say what's going on there. Yeah, see? Idles down, and it drops pretty low, but then it starts to come back up. So I think it's trying to figure itself out, but it's just that the valve is tired, and it's dirty, and so it's way slower than it should be. I see there's no AC belt on down there, which is probably explain why it doesn't work. Won't work if it's not hooked up. I don't know if I saw a belt back there. I see there should be. Okay, so it looks like it should be going from the crank to the alternator to the AC, and it should be, actually be using a 6K belt, and it looks like it's got a 4K belt stretched onto it. There's, I mean, the alternator itself is a tensioner, so that's cool, but on the back side, you see the water pump right there, and then you see the power steering pump. It's kind of hard to see, but you see the belt flicking by. Power steering is down there, and then what you're seeing the belt flick by on is a water pump. See if I can see what I see. Come on, Mr. Fly. Get, piss off, go away. All right. You see what I mean, though? The thing immediately just throttle response. Like, there's some real potential here. All right, so now it idled up because I've got the AC on, but of course the AC is not spinning, so it's not doing anything. And I don't see the belt. Got some SER tires back there, but SER rims. Those aren't the good ones. And I don't even think they're SER wheels now that I'm really looking at them. Does the fan come on? Hell yes. Fan is screaming. But of course the AC is not doing anything, so it's not adding any heat to the system, so it's not hurting nothing. At the moment, you could theoretically use this as a switch to just turn it on, but if you wanted, just switch it to heat and you'd still get warm air out. But like, it's alright. We're gonna get there. And because I care about other people's stuff way more than I care about mine. I bring the wheels inside. Damn mosquitoes. Like to be careful. All I need is for some jackleg ass crackhead to come riding by and be like, oh man, look at them really clean wheels. There ain't nobody outside looking at her. Found it on the car. I'd have to explain to my buddy and his girl, who would not be pleased, that, hey, your wheels got stirred. Oh yeah. Just like that. We have observed CYA. Lug nuts and key are together. Granted, they're on the desk instead of on the car. You know what? It's actually not a bad idea. You know what we do? We just put them in the center here and let that form a tiny little depression in the center section of the rim, like a bowl. And then we just make sure that we Don't have any like crazy exposures. I don't expect these to be here long. I'm still not seeing a leak, which is crazy. I don't get that, because it was absolutely leaking the other day. Like, for surezies, no question. Suspension is tight. All the springs are tight. The perches are tight. All the upper strut tower bolts are tight and everything's in. But we're still getting that clunking. So, I think what I'm going to end up having to do is I'm going to end up having to like clear a spot somewhere and take everything out of the car and then go for a ride and try to like really pay attention to where the sound is coming from, and then come back and try to address it. Because at this present moment, I'm just not sure. And with not being able to find a loose spring, it's kind of tough to say, hey, this is the side. And Brian Crower, if you saw, those are BC Brian Crower 32-way adjustable coilovers with adjustable dampening. They're not cheap at all, like in the slightest. You see it right there. BC Brian Crower. That's why I make a joke to a buddy of mine. I told him, I was like, goddamn, the coilovers on this car are worth 5 times what the car could ever be worth because of the high mileage and the other bits and bobs about it. You know, the AC doesn't work, it's automatic. I mean, it runs good, don't get me wrong. If they're keeping it, then it's a great car to keep. But if they're just talking about trying to fix this thing up to sell it, unless they find an enthusiast that knows what that motor is, has a 5-speed swap laying around, I don't know that we're going to find anybody to pay any real money for it. So I'm trying to be conscientious about what work I tell them to do, because they say they're going to pay me for this, and whether they do or don't is really not my point. I wasn't terribly worried about it. It's a friend, and you know, I'd like to make sure that my friend can have a good time with his old lady. If she wants to be in cars with him and do things and shit, who am I to try and charge them for that? Like, when I work on cars for friends, it's usually a by donation kind of thing. I don't necessarily ever have a price in mind when somebody asks me for help. It's not one of those things where I go over to a friend's house expecting money. They give it to me, great. Amanda, I'm sure, appreciates it because she doesn't, you know, have to just see money leaving the account in gas and supplies and other things that I may go get and use and stuff. And it's like, that's all fine and dandy. But like, I had no intention of trying to charge them for this. So it's like, whatever's kind of whatever at this moment. I just want to figure out what the clunking is. I want to figure out what the idle issue is. We're going to get those motor mounts swapped out once all this rain decides to finally break. You see, we're getting dark around here again. It sucks. I thought, like I said the other day in the video, I thought May showers brought spring flowers or some shit, and here we are in June, halfway through the year, and it's raining like it should have been raining in spring, and it didn't rain in spring, but it's June, not spring. It's damn near summer now, and we're still getting, oh well. Makes you wonder how active this year's hurricane season's going to end up being. And most of you that don't have to live anywhere near the coast, you guys should count yourselves lucky, because man, hurricanes at the ocean front are not fun times. Like, they can be fun if you're prepared to like be out exploring in the disaster in a safe fashion, but like, there is no safe when the world is trying to kill you at that moment. So, you know, kind of is what it is. But I think we're going to call it for this video. I can't seem to make this thing leak, and I'm not going to sit here waiting 4-7 hours trying to make a video on where is the leak coming from. I'm going to, you know, tinker around here and try to sort through more of this bullshit, see if maybe I'm wrong, maybe I didn't lose my gun, maybe I just set it somewhere and then set stuff on top of it and didn't realize it. I guess we'll see. Here's hoping, right? But on that bombshell, everybody, thank you for coming with me and helping me figure out whether or not the Sentra suspension was busted. It does not seem to be busted. Thank you for listening to me talk about how fun front-wheel drives can be when it comes to the SR20 platform. I appreciate it. I know it's not terribly entertaining just to see me chat and point and stuff for 30 minutes worth of a video, but unfortunately, if I'm being totally honest, I'm not really feeling it. With all the recent defeats from the Passat, with, you know, life just going the way it's going, and then losing my impact gun, and having shit in the house not work the way I want it to work, I'm actually, like, on quite the losing streak with everything lately. Like, just about everything's kicking my ass, and it's not getting better. Some of it's getting worse. Like, I've been trying to, you know, do some emulation on my Steam Deck, and it's funny, everybody on the internet, you go Googling about emulation on the Steam Deck, they start talking about, oh, it's the easiest thing I've ever worked on, it's the easiest thing I've ever had to mess with, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's not been the easiest thing I've ever worked with. It's not been the easiest thing I've ever done. I finally got it, but it took me months and months and months of having a unique issue that nobody else was having, and it ended up being 2 unique issues by the time it was all said and done. Number one, I could not, for whatever reason, get the hotkeys, which is where you click a certain button so many times and it brings up menus or overrides whatever controller you've got in. It's like a way to backspace out of a full screen, so to speak. It gives you a way to do stuff. Well, normally in Windows, you have to press the left shift key 5 times really fast in order to activate it. And then it'll alert you that it's been activated, meaning you can toggle it on and off and see that it's toggled on or off. But it'll also give you the option in the menu to set your own hotkeys. Well, I was setting my own hotkeys and I was setting them as blanks. And I still could not get it to stop working. And essentially what was happening is I would go to start the game up and I'd be running in full screen and I'd press the right button twice too quickly in a row and it would exit me out of the game, ruin everything I was working on. It would bust up all my time invested. It was not a good time. And then once I sort of figured out how to get around that, which was ridiculous, I managed to turn around and plug the Steam Deck into the TV dock that I'd purchased, and somehow that made the screen, the windows, the text, the icons, the desktop, it made everything blow up to such a large size that I couldn't navigate to undo it. And again, I go Googling on the internet trying to find out what the hell my problem is, and I can't find anything. Nobody has had the issues or is having the issues that I've been having, and it's just the wildest shit to me, because it's like, why is it that all the problems I come across in the world always tend to be so just fucking unique to me? Like, how do I have such great luck to be the guy that finds the one Passat in the world that has a sensor that's gone bad or may not have gone bad, but may have gone bad, but may not have gone bad, but doesn't work the way it's supposed to, but still somehow runs? And it's like, God damn, how do I do this? Like, my Jetta's been great, but I don't want to say that too loudly. Matter of fact, let me knock on some of this fucking wood. The Jetta's been great, but it's because it's a Mark III. Disappointment was great once I figured out that final motor, but I had so many small issues on the car that I wanted to tighten up that it seemed at the time worthwhile to take the car off the road. That was the worst thing I could have done. The moment I took Disappointment off the road was the moment that car died. It has been sitting underneath this barn for so long now, for no reason, that I don't know that I'll ever get back to it. I've got a clean title. The car is there. Everything's there. I've got parts, I've got tools, I've got storage, but I can't seem to bring myself to do anything with the car. Wagon's got to go to a pro. I'm losing expensive tools. I'm stuck with bodies and shells that I can't really do nothing with. I'm storing shit for people that I have to work around constantly. It's like, I can't keep doing it. I can't keep taking loss after loss after loss and try to keep my spirits up. Like, I'm getting to the point to where every time I walk outside, it's some kind of a shit kicking. Even that car right there, the timing belt isn't broken. It broke some bullshit roller on the timing belt, and it happened while I was trying to fix something else. The car started to overheat while it was sitting on the fucking plate, and so I hopped in it and revved it up and tried to get the thermostat to push open, and yeah, that turned into it rattling like crazy, and, you know, turned into me shutting it down and finding out that the timing belt has a massive component missing from it. So it's like, that's cool. The Beetle. I'll give you an example on the Beetle. I did all the work I've done on the Beetle. Timing belt, water pump, services, all this, that, and the other. And then when we're finally at the point where we're kind of close to getting it together to a point where Amanda could drive it, we could go get it inspected, we can't find door panels. The shifter, while I was trying to tinker around with it, just decided to shit itself and broke in a way that I've never seen it broke. I asked friends, was like, y'all ever had a shifter fall down into itself in this way where it was wedged down? And they were like, no, that's really weird. Okay, cool. Because I have no idea what the hell happened or what went wrong. It just, the stick, which is supposed to be spring-loaded in the up position, started spring-loading itself down. And it won't come back up in a normal position. So if you're not careful, you go for first, it'll let you get reverse. And it's like, that's not safe, because if you're at a stoplight, you come to a complete stop and then go into first instead of downshifting your way through it, you're going to find out when you go to take off that you're in reverse. And that's not a good place to be when you're trying to go forward. Backwards, bad. Forward, good. So now I got a shifter box in the back of the Jetta that I bought from somebody. I got to rebuild that goddamn thing and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, every time I come outside, every time I try to work on a hobby that I like, I really do genuinely feel like it's just the hardest thing it could ever be all the time for no reason. Like, everybody says there's a grand plan, there's only the creator knows this or that, and it's like, all right, well, after 35 years of, just dealing with shit after shit, it's like, I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. I feel like I've dealt with enough. I had, all kinds of problems growing up as a child, from bad parenting to fucking troubles at school to, trying to deal with ADD, trying to understand myself and the things that I'd had to go through. And I'm not going to go into my life story or anything, but it's not been a cakewalk for me at any point in time. The people that are there that are supposed to protect you when you're young, they didn't do that for me. They didn't do that at all. They did the opposite of that. I was a tool. I had value. I didn't have love. I had value. And so it's like, I don't know at what point life's just going to kind of work. Like, I'm not trying to sound all sad or depressed or anything, but like, it just kind of is what it is. Like, you look around my yard, I have to spend 2 or 3 days a week cutting grass. Which, when I have a job, that's actually a really awful thing, because I have to work that 9 to 5. And most times, like I've said in the past, when I work anywhere, I always end up somehow being the guy. I end up being the one that comes in early and staying late and going the extra mile and doing this or that and the other. And it's like, all I do is get a headache when I get a job somewhere. And then you see all of this overgrown nonsense. This is all from times where I've worked. And the job literally genuinely took everything time-wise from me, and I just couldn't keep up with it. Even now, I don't work, but I can't keep up with it. And I'm trying to fix these cars, and I'm trying to stay upbeat, and I'm fucking trying to fight cancer, and it's just like, man, I'm getting tired. I'm getting really tired. And I'm tired of being tired. Like, I know that's like some old man shit to say, but like, I've lived a life, and I'm at the point where I'm just tired of the bullshit. I want simplicity. And I know that seems like such a wild thing for a 30-year-old to say, but that's all I want. I want a job where I can show up and do that job, be good at it, become a fucking craftsman, and take pride in my work, while somehow simultaneously not getting used and abused by the company I've been hired by. You know, I want a modest living. You see, my house isn't big. It's not terribly nice. If I zoom in on that shit show, there's busted holes all in the siding. The fucking chimney's falling in. You can see, matter of fact, you see the porch? See how the fucking porch has a downward slope, but everything up here is all nice and straight? Yeah, my fuck literally falling apart. And because the family is planning on tearing it down in the next 5 years, we can't fix it. There's nothing we can do with it. And the longer I'm out here fucking around, fighting and trying to do all this fucking stupid shit, I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money, I'm not getting anywhere on a fucking career. I'm sorry for all the cursing in this video. I'm sorry that this video turned into a rant. My God, I did not intend for this to happen. But, like, I just don't know what to do anymore. I need help in big ways, but it's not like I don't need money. I don't need free shit. I need hands. I need more hands. I need more hours in the day. I need to not be sick. I need to not be fucking 17 years old at 35 and crying about my goddamn problems. Look, you know what, guys? I am going to go ahead and end it here. I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening to me. If I upload this, I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just venting. So don't mind me. There's enough experience in me to know that life is just perpetually fucking hard. And no matter how hard you work at it, it won't really get easy. Especially if you're pointing it out as it's happening. It's like ignorance is truly bliss, right?